Ms. Leos, did you get a chance to speak with Ms. Dilligard yet? Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to take Ms. Roney's plea, and then if we get our major case prosecutor back, we can bring Mr. Pierce out, which won't involve Ms. Dilligard, and may tie us up for a little while. I appreciate your patience.
Oh, I was emailed it to you. So you did on that picture.
What?
The work, please, or
I cannot.
Are you ready?
it's trying to confirm for me.
Yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Ms. Rios, are you ready?
Yes, I'm good.
All right. We'll go on the record then with 24 SC 001446, State versus Roney. Ms. Roney is here with Ms. Rios, and Ms. Dilligard is the prosecutor. Ms. Roney, you're going to be put under oath in just a moment, and then you'll need to answer a bunch of questions, mostly from the prosecutor, but some from me. And I am here to answer questions you may have, okay? You're going to have to answer out loud to all the questions. You're welcome to nod your head, but make sure you answer out loud, all right?
Sir.
All right. Ms. Dilligard.
Ms. Bernie, you can please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that any statement or testimony that you should give in the matter currently before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Lower your hand. Please state your true and correct legal name for the record.
Amy Elaine Roney. And did you say age?
Not just.
We're going to get to that.
Are you at this time taking or under the influence of any medicine, drugs, or alcohol?
Under the influence of medication, but I do take mental health medication.
What do you take and how often?
I take Lexapro, 10 milligrams once a day. I take Adderall, 10 milligrams once a day. And then I take alprazolam, a half of a milligram once a day.
Okay.
Or use as emergencies for panic attacks.
And those prescriptions are designed to help you with what diagnosis?
Anxiety and attention ADHD.
Did you take any of those medications this morning?
I take them as prescribed.
Oh,
So I
I don't know how they're prescribed. You said 10 milligrams.
I just took my Adderall this morning.
Okay.
As prescribed.
So you didn't take the Lexapro or the other one
Take the Lexapro at night.
at night? Okay. Does taking the Adderall make you woozy or confused or not knowing what's going on around you?
No, absolutely not.
Great. All right. Thank you.
Ms. Bernie, how old are you and how far have you gone in school?
I'm 43 and I graduated.
High school, college, medical school, high school?
Do you understand that you've been charged with the following offenses? 1 count of theft by deception and 2 counts of identity theft fraud.
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to plead either guilty or not guilty to these charges?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you plead not guilty or remain silent and refuse to enter a plea, then the state is required to prove the charges against you at a jury trial?
Yes.
Have you had enough time to speak with your lawyer about all of the charges in this indictment, including the facts and circumstances relating to these charges?
Yes.
Would you like any more time to discuss the case with your lawyer?
Not unless she feels that no,
Are you satisfied with your lawyer's services?
absolutely.
Counsel, do you waive formal reading of the indictment and any and all defects in the indictment for purposes of the plea?
Yes.
Ms. Roney, do you remember having been arrested on these charges?
Yes.
Has your attorney advised you the minimum and maximum sentence for each charge which you're pleading guilty to today? For the theft by deception, I have 2 to 20. 2 years to 20 years.
Is that because of the value of?
It's because of the value. That's what I have on my
Okay.
notes. Right.
I thought it was 1 to 10 years, but it's
I think
like
it's
the
because of
change.
the value of the
Okay.
Mercedes-Benz.
I'll look while you guys.
And for the ID theft, because this is a fraud, because it's your second conviction, the range is 3 to 15. Is that your understanding of the ranges, Ms. Ronan?
For the 3 to 15 for which one?
For the identity theft?
Yes, ma'am. I understand the guidelines that you are telling me what they are. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you understand that today you're entering a negotiated plea of guilty, which means that the state will recommend the following sentence to the court? I know you're
I'm ready.
okay.
I'll multitask.
Okay, the recommendation is 7 years to serve 92 days. Credit for time served. To take an anti-theft course within 90 days, 100 hours of community service, stay away from all Mercedes-Benz dealerships.
In the.
You want to check?
You guys keep trying to change things up on the fly.
I don't believe that was in the email, but I was really.
Take better notes.
Huh?
Those classes from completion of problem.
So the issue is, hold on one second.
Do that course. I might, I'll do that. And then, what about when I was in Wilson County for the 90 days?
Mhm.
I was, community service there. Like I was on runner.
I don't think that's gonna count.
That doesn't count.
Yeah. So are you okay with the community service?
Yes.
Okay. She's fine with that.
So an anti-theft course, or that's out now?
That's in.
Yes. Okay. And you should know this, Ms. Roney, if you've taken one and you can provide proof that you took it, probation might decide, why do we have to make her take it again? But they have that discretion, because I overheard legitimately Ms. Rios saying, I think she already took an anti-theft course. So anti-theft course, 100 hours community service, stay away from Mercedes-Benz, all Mercedes-Benz, not just Buckhead. And then what about Buckhead Village, where you weren't going to count to? Was there anything as to count to?
Oh, I stay away from that locations.
Okay.
And then no contact with Courtney Clark, which I don't believe they have. Courtney Clark.
Courtney with a K.
Okay, yes.
Tell me how to get anti that.
Okay.
Probation should have instructions about anti-theft, of course. But if you have trouble, let me know and I'll try to figure out.
Oh, and what about you sure?
What? Remember that's after.
Okay.
Okay. Is that your understanding of the recommendation? No need to apologize. Is that your understanding of the recommendation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You understand that the court is not required to accept the state's recommended sentence?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand that the court has the right to sentence you to the maximum possible sentence on each charge?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if there are multiple charges to which you're pleading guilty to today, that the court also has the right to run those sentences consecutively?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if the court decides to order a sentence that differs from the negotiated plea that you were expecting, that you have the right to withdraw your plea of guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you currently on probation or parole anywhere?
I am.
Do you understand that if you're currently on probation or parole, your probation or parole may be revoked based on your entering of a guilty plea today?
I do, but I've been to, it's all connected. So, like Gwinnett County was connected with this case. And then, Bibb County I've been on. So once I got, before I could get into accountability court in Gwinnett County, I had to do a production order and go there. And so, they're aware of all the,
If you've already been revoked for this conduct, the trying to get the Mercedes from Buckhead Mercedes, if you've already been revoked in Gwinnett or Bibb, you're not going to be re-revoked because you've pled guilty. But if in Bibb County, they've never had a conversation with you about, hey, look what happened. This happened a while ago in 2021. Then it's possible that this would bring it to their attention because now you have a conviction for it. So you know better than anyone else in the room if you've already dealt with Gwinnett or Bibb in connection with you getting arrested for what happened with Courtney Clark's driver's license and the Mercedes. Does that make sense?
thank you for making that transparent for me.
Okay, I don't know about transparent, but you're welcome.
Do you understand that if you're placed on probation of any kind, you cannot violate any criminal laws of any governmental unit?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you're on probation, you must follow all the special conditions of your probation?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you fail to follow all the special conditions of your probation, then you'll be subject to revocation of that probation for the balance of your sentence?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that you are not allowed to possess or use a firearm while on probation.
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that by entering a plea of guilty today, you are waiving any and all defenses, including any mental health defenses.
Yes.
You understand that by pleading guilty, you are giving up the following rights: the right to a trial by jury, the right to remain silent, the right to confront witnesses against you, the right to the assistance of counsel, the right to the presumption of innocence, and the right to appeal if convicted of these charges at a trial.
Yes.
Is it your decision to waive these rights and enter a guilty plea today?
Yes.
Has anyone forced, threatened, or promised you anything to get you to enter a guilty plea?
No.
Is it your decision to enter a guilty plea because you are in fact guilty?
Yes.
Ms. Roney, how do you plead to 1 count of theft by deception and 2 counts of ID theft fraud in indictment number 24 SC 001446?
Guilty.
Is this guilty plea freely and voluntarily given with full knowledge of the charges against you?
Yes.
Do you understand that you only have a limited right to appeal this guilty plea conviction?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you wish to challenge the voluntariness of your guilty plea, you must do so by filing a habeas corpus petition?
Yes.
Do you understand that for a felony charge, you have only 4 years from today to file a habeas corpus petition?
Yes.
Judge, if this case were to proceed to trial, the evidence would show that on December 2nd of 2021, officers responded to the Mercedes-Benz of Buckhead, who stated that a female walked in to buy a vehicle and produced a license with the name Courtney Clark on it. The Mercedes-Benz learned that the woman who presented the license was not Courtney Clark and that Courtney Clark had been a victim of ID theft. The officer was notified that that same Courtney Clark with the same fraudulent ID was used at an apartment at 3150 Roswell Road. Officers responded to that location. They spoke with staff at the complex who informed them that the individual living in that unit is a white female in her late 30s or early 40s with straight black hair. Officers viewed a copy of the woman's driver's license that was used on the application. The name was Courtney Clark and was identical to the one used at the Mercedes-Benz dealership. The courtesy officer said that the ID that was presented was not the person that was actually living in the apartment. Officers were made aware that the real Courtney Clark was a victim of ID fraud in Oconee County, Georgia. The sheriff there identified the suspect in that identity theft to be Ms. Roney. And Ms. Roney is currently a suspect, at that time was a suspect in other ID fraud cases from buying vehicles with fictitious name, including that of Courtney Clark. This defendant was arrested and detained, waived her Miranda rights, and agreed to speak with officers. She then admitted that she was the person in the pictures at the Mercedes-Benz dealership purchasing that 2017 Mercedes-Benz. She also admitted to using that same ID to rent the unit at the complex which she was living at, and she also listed the 2017 Mercedes-Benz as her car on her parking application at the apartment complex.
What's the theft part? I'm confused. I'm not confused by most of what you said. Ms. Roney was masquerading as Courtney Clark. But if she paid with US dollars to get the Mercedes-Benz, but just bought it under someone else's name, I'm trying to understand
The deception part.
It's deceptive because you say you're someone else. But if Mercedes, let's pretend the car cost $30,000, and Ms. Roney says, "Here's the 30 grand," but she says, "I'm actually Ms. Clark," and maybe it gets titled in Courtney Clark's name. All that. I'm just curious what your sense of what. I'm not trying to undo this. I guess I'd be disappointed if I were Mercedes-Benz because we're dealing with someone who lied about her name. But mostly if I'm Mercedes-Benz, I want money for the car that you rolled away in. And if I got paid, then I'm confused. Because it doesn't sound like what the police were saying is, or that Mercedes was saying is someone stole the car.
I think it's that they obtained the property by using
Use
deceitful
credit.
means. That's was my
Use credit.
understanding of the charge.
Yeah. That's what it says. I guess you're right that that you obtain it by creating an impression of an existing fact, which is false, and the accused knew it was false. So I guess it's just that there's this intention of depriving the owner of the property. And if you pay for it, then you haven't fully deprived the owner. I mean, I don't endorse what happened here. But I was just curious if there was more to the story that, yeah, and we've been unable to collect on the car because when we reach out to Courtney Clark, the real one, she said, well, I drive a Honda. I don't have a Mercedes.
No, Judge, and I do believe that the Mercedes was recovered in Gwinnett County.
Okay.
But
Well, then it wasn't fully paid for if they needed to get it back. So it may have been, did you?
I think it was using the credit of the person.
Financed it, and then I would make made payments on it. And
Got it.
then
But all under the name of Courtney Clark.
that's correct.
Okay.
The bank is actually who, I had the same issue in Gwinnett County where we had to come back to court during drug court to get some of the restitution taken off because the cars were recovered. And then,
There's more than one car.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. All the, Gwinnett County, this county, and Oconee are all the same.
Okay.
Courtney Clark.
Okay.
Was lived a different life then.
Sure. No, I saw. Yeah.
So, but I financed it. So I would
Okay.
make the payments. And basically what was determined was they knocked a lot of the restitution off because the car lot didn't take the loss, even if it wasn't recovered because it got the bank paid. It was through, if you get a bank note basically and you pay on it, it's the bank buying it for Mercedes-Benz for
Right.
you.
Right.
Or
But
whatever.
someone's left holding the bag if the car's not recovered, but it sounds like it was recovered.
It was recovered in Gwinnett County at the car lot where I got the Gwinnett County case. Left it there because I couldn't drive.
Okay. All right. I'll move past this. It's an interesting coupling of charge and facts. But I think we're okay. Anything else from you?
I just wanted to add that the fact that Ms. Roney had completed the Gwinnett County drug court successfully was taken into account when making the recommendation as well.
Okay. Got it. Ms. Rios.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Roney is 43 years old. She works now at Bonefish Grill. She has completed drug court, which I've showed. She's been doing really well. She's got her life together since these situations. Right now, she does have probation in the other county. So I am also asking for her probation fees to be waived here, so she's not paying multiple probation fees because she still has some restitution left, correct?
In Gwinnett County,
in
yeah.
Gwinnett. And so I wanted her to be able to focus on paying the restitution. She has a steady job, but her income is not very high. I'm also asking for her to have a behavioral incentive date of 3 years. It seems like that she will not have any problems going forward since she's recovered. She's on instead of self-medicating, she's on the prescribed medications that she's supposed to be on.
Okay. The waiving of the probation fees, I don't think you pay multiple. You don't pay per. And so if
Okay.
you're already on probation, but Ms. Simpson can correct me if I'm wrong, if we're adding another case to probation, I don't think you pay that amount for each case.
I was just making sure because I believe it was 2 counties.
Mhm.
So I wasn't sure how.
Right. There's one collection.
Okay.
You could be on 10 cases and it's one. Okay.
Have those one fees waived, so she can.
So that would be a different counties. If she gets them waived everywhere else, let's come back here and talk about that.
Okay.
All right. Ms. Jackson, good afternoon. Do you have any criminal history information on Ms. Roney?
Yes, Your Honor. She has 20 cycles. The last arrest was October the 28th, 2022 in Oconee, Georgia. And that was for identity theft fraud. There was no disposition for that arrest.
Yeah.
He does appear to be on probation in Gwinnett County for 2 counts of theft by deception. That disposition date was December the 30th, 2022, and the term is for 12 years. Also, she appears to be on probation in Bibb County for identity theft fraud, 5 counts. That disposition date was September the 27th, 2017, and the term is for 10 years. Also, she appears to have an additional open probation case in Bibb County for burglary. That disposition date was February the 27th, 2007, and the term is for 20 years. She does have, there was one in 2005 out of Florida for 4 counts of possession of controlled substance. An additional one in 2005, it was a federal case out of Florida for mail fraud. And she does have 1 misdemeanor conviction that was in 2014 out of Bibb County for giving false information to an officer. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Roney, what do you do at Bonefish Grill?
I'm actually a to-go specialist and catering.
Okay. Does that mean you will go out to an event and set stuff up, or you just take the orders?
It's in progress right now.
Pardon?
It's in progress right now with me actually transferring from WebGen to Buford for that reason. So yeah, but I've been with Bonefish for 2 years now.
Okay. And you said transferring from where to Buford?
WebGen to Buford location.
WebGen. Got it. Okay. And how long were you in drug court in Gwinnett?
21 months. I graduated
I saw the certificate.
October 11.
Okay. Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
And was your primary drug of use meth or anything, or prescription pills?
It was mainly meth,
Okay.
cocaine.
Has drug court been successful? Have you enjoyed
was-
sobriety since then?
It was absolutely the best thing that could have ever happened for me. Just due to my behaviors. If anything, you know, I know that I have an addiction to the type of past crimes that I have. And drugs also induce that behavior and the environment as well. So
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm nervous and my mouth gets.
Don't worry about it. This is not an easy time. I'm asking you about hard things. But I'm very interested in the progress you've made to see if the sentence we're agreeing to put in place is something that will help you move in the direction you've been moving, or if we're going to see more of someone else's name and a car you really don't need to be driving in, or that you're just flipping to someone else to get money to support the way that you're self-medicating, et cetera. But it doesn't sound like that's you anymore, which is great. Do you have any questions about anything we discussed? No? Okay. Well, I find there's a factual basis for your plea. It would have been an interesting case to go to trial, because I'm still not convinced 100% that the car was stolen, but clearly you deceived the dealership. And so I don't know legally how that will play out. And clearly you were using Courtney Clark's ID to do a variety of things that none of which helped her. And I'm sure she didn't say it was okay for you to be doing that. Was that a complete stranger to you or someone you knew?
Never met her.
Okay. All right. I also find that your plea is knowing and voluntary. I'm sentencing you pursuant to the Probation Options Management Act, which means that while you're on probation, if you have a minor issue, you and probation will figure out what to do with that. But if you get arrested for anything, that comes back to me and we'll figure out what to do with that. It doesn't sound like there's restitution in your case, Ms. Dilligard.
No, Judge.
No? Okay. All right. Then, Ms. Roney, I will sentence you on counts 1, 2, and 3 to 7 years to serve 3 months with the balance probated. Special condition of probation number 1 is to take an anti-theft course. And as I mentioned before, if you've already done that, then you just need to get proof that you, not Courtney Clark, but you actually completed it. And then the probation folks will probably waive that. You'll need to complete 100 hours of community service. You don't have to do that all at once, but start chipping away at that, because probation's not going to be interested in making your probation non-reporting or unsupervised or anything like that if you still have balance remaining. You'll need to stay away from all Mercedes-Benz dealerships. It sounds like you are pretty far away, both where you live and where you work, from Buckhead. Any reason for you to be in the city of Atlanta, or do you not come into Atlanta?
I don't really come into Atlanta like that anymore, because I don't live in Fulton County. I stayed out in Gwinnett County, where I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
And did accountability court there.
Okay.
And it's just been better for me to stay there.
Okay. Well, I'll limit it to you just stay out of Mercedes-Benz dealerships. Obviously, no contact with Courtney Clark, who was a stranger to you, even though you were masquerading as her. I will set a behavioral incentive date of April 2nd, 2028. That's 3 years from now. If you've taken care of everything in terms of your special conditions and things have gone well on probation, there weren't revocations because you weren't going to your meetings or you relapsed or something, then probation will have the authority to reach out to me to say, could we just close Ms. Roney's case out? She's not an issue. We have all sorts of people who are a hassle, and she's not. And I will favorably consider that request.
Thank you.
Ms. Dilligard, anything else for the state?
Nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
Ms. Rios, on behalf of Ms. Roney?
Sure, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Roney, I'm gonna have you speak with Ms. Simpson, who's seated over there. She's with probation. She's gonna give you reporting instructions.